Hello, hello, courageous women. It's so good to see you. It is a nice, bright, beautiful Tuesday morning here. The weather's been so perfect and great this week. It's like 70 degrees and sunny every day. I'm so happy. I love it. And I'm super happy to connect with you. I know it's evening for most of you there. I hope that you are settling in for the day, doing your thing. Maybe grab a glass of wine or a nice hot tea. I don't know, whatever it is that you need to settle and feel connected to yourself and be ready to listen and engage and learn. Yeah, this time of year is just a really good kind of reawakening, rebirth, right? A time to kind of reconnect with ourselves and come alive again. Winter is behind us and we're reemerging. So I really, really love this time of year. Yeah, I just my goals feel brighter, my sense of self. Hi, Claudia. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining. Yes, if you're here, please give me a hi in the comments. Let me know you're here. It's always more fun to interact with you and engage with you. But like I was saying, it's just this is an incredible time of year. Winter's really hard for me. It affects my mood. When I'm really cold, I feel angry and I feel sad, and it's hard for me to stay focused on moving forward and reaching my goals. So I just feel more alive now in a way that I haven't in a while. Hi, Rochelle. Uh, yes, Claudia, I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. All right, so we are talking today all about stress and about worry. I know that so many of us struggle with worry. In fact, I have a poll. I'm going to post it now, and I want you to let me know. How, I'm trying to activate it, but it doesn't look like it's wanting to. Oh, it is active. Okay, let me know in the poll if you feel like you worry more than 50% of the day or less than 50% of the day. I just kind of want to get an idea of what you're thinking and how you're feeling. I I have a strong belief that this is sort of you hear about nature versus nurture, that our sense of worry and how much we worry is a 50-50 combination of both. I feel like so many women struggle with worry, and so when we watch our mothers constantly worry about everything, then we internalize that and we feel and we gain the sense that, well, if I'm a worrying is part of being a mom, is part of being a woman. And so that is kind of the nurture piece of it, right? Where we just think that that's what being a good woman or a good mom or a good spouse or a good person is somebody who's constantly vigilantly worrying. So there's that piece of it. And there's also when you've had a lot of adverse life experiences, when you felt unsafe a lot, then of course it's natural to worry, because what we're trying to do in our worry is prevent something bad from happening again, prevent more pain in our life. So if you've experienced a lot of pain in your life, then it makes sense that you're going to naturally want to try to stay really vigilant, right? So that you don't feel any more pain. And so we think that if we can stay in our minds and think ahead enough and see enough of what's coming, then it will prevent us from experiencing more pain. So that's logical, but we're here today to talk about how some of that logic breaks down, how it plays out in reality, and what staying in our head and constantly thinking through what the next step is going to be and constantly worrying, what that costs us in the end, and what that actually feels like. All right. So when we are stuck in worry, I have 4 things here listed that that tend to happen. So number 1 is we tend to lack boundaries. So when you're really, really worried and stressed out about something, let's say about your kids, and if they're going to be okay, if they're turning out okay, if they're doing the right thing, if you're being a good enough mom, if you're, on and on and on. We just get in our heads about it. Or let's say your finances, you're not sure what the future looks like. Have we saved enough? We don't have enough money. How am I going to make ends meet? Like, you're constantly thinking through the future about what's going to happen, how are things going to happen, am I going to be okay, how am I going to survive? Hi, Jackie. We're so glad that you're here. So when you're constantly thinking through that, when you're focused so much on that worry, then we tend to lack boundaries because we overextend ourselves in different ways, thinking that that's what we need to do in order to self-protect. Does that make sense? So let's say you're worried about finances, so you work an extreme amount of hours, or you take on lots of different jobs in order to just keep making money. But when you don't have any boundaries around getting sleep and taking care of yourself, then that breaks down over time. Or let's say with your kids, you're worried about your kids, you don't trust them, you don't think they can make it, and so you lack boundaries with how you connect with them. Let's say you're over involved in their life, which actually creates what you fear. You create this enabling relationship where they know that you don't trust them, and so they don't really follow through with the things they need to do because they know that you're going to go in there and overcompensate for it anyway, right? So we lack boundaries when we worry too much. Number 2, we get stuck in people pleasing. Right? And I know this is something that we've talked about a lot. When you are so focused on other people and not taking care of yourself, then, and when you're worried about what other people think about you, you're worried about how your family is being perceived to others, you're worried about whether or not your partner is going to stay with you or like you, then you overcompensate for that by people pleasing, by ignoring your own needs, trying to meet the needs of everybody else. And I think we all know how over time that really, really tends to break down. I love that you guys are talking to each other and saying hi to each other in the chat. Hi, Crystal, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Okay, so yeah, so we tend to then fall into this trap, right, of giving to others without really wanting anything in return, which seems like it's the right thing to do, but then we only attract people who are takers and not givers. So we get stuck in that people pleasing, we're overgiving, extending ourselves, and we're stuck in a stress response. If you are stuck in worry, then you are in your stress response, which means you're fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. I've talked a little bit about fawn before, but basically fawning is when you are people pleasing, when you ignore your needs and meet the needs of others. That is a stress response. That's the 4th stress response that's been created recently. So the reason I want to bring this up and talk about when you are stuck in your head and stuck in worrying over the future and you're in a stress response, which means you're overcompensating, you don't have boundaries, you're people pleasing, you are a target. You are a magnet for a narcissist. You are the perfect person for them to find and connect to. So if you're wondering, why is it everywhere I go, narcissists find me? It doesn't matter if I'm at work, if I'm at church, if I'm with friends, anybody that I try to date or marry, even my kids, like everywhere I go, I find narcissists. It's because this is what attracts them. When you don't have a sense of self, when you're only concerned about how other people perceive you and you're only concerned about meeting other people's needs, hello, that's a narcissist. They don't care anything about meeting your needs. They don't care anything about seeing you. They want you to meet their needs and to only see them. So you're creating this perfect storm where like this is your side of the street to clean up, right? We can't I wish that we could fix all narcissists or get rid of them in the world or find, but this is what you can do. You can do the work that I'm talking about today to get out of your head and reduce your level of stress and worry, which demagnetizes you from any narcissist wanting anything to do with you, because then you're not a supply for them. When they show up in a room and you show up in a room, they sense that you are centered and grounded within yourself, that you're not stuck in worry and stress and overwhelm. And so they'll move on to the next person, right? They won't even see you. They won't connect with you. So this is, if nothing else, let this be the reason you want to there's so many internal benefits, right? Just feeling good, feeling happy, feeling joyful, feeling at peace and content and enjoying life, getting to enjoy your life. And an additional benefit is then you only attract and connect with other people who also are enjoying and benefiting from life. They're not in stress and overwhelm, and they're not wanting to take advantage of people who are. Okay, you with me so far? So, how do we do this? So we know that we've had all these crazy adverse life experiences. We know that it's something that was modeled from us from generations before, and we think that if we're not worrying, that we're not doing a good job, that we're being lazy, or that when we're not stressed and we're not worried, that people will judge us because we're not working hard. Like relaxed people, what is that? But the opposite is actually true. If you think about it, we weren't given this life to have furrowed brows and stress, sad. Like, we were created to live life abundantly. We were created to be free and whole and complete and happy and relaxed. Like, that is who we are intended and created to be. So let's figure out what we need to do in order to let go of all the BS so that we can just be that person, right? So that we can just live freely and contently with who we are. Okay, so the number one suggestion I have, tip for us, is to take time every day. It doesn't matter if you have, Claudia, I don't understand your question. Can you reframe it? I want you to close your eyes right now, and I want you to determine where in your body you feel worry, and let me know in the chat. I know for me, I feel it in my chest. When I get stuck in worry, then my chest gets tight. What is life living freely? Well, that's why you're here, Claudia. We are on your way to take one step at a time. Jackie, you feel it in your chest as well? All right, some people feel worry like here in their head, like their head feels tight and they just are stuck right here. I don't know what that was. Some people, okay, stomach. Honestly, some people it's like shoulders and back. Yes, okay. Jackie, you're saying shoulders, chest. Okay, Claudia, throat. So it gets trapped somewhere within our physical body, right? And that's kind of where we tend to hold that energy. So what I want you to do is take a big, deep breath and focus on that part of your body where you feel the tension, where you feel the tightness. And I want you to have just the thought of letting it go, releasing it. And when you have the thought of releasing it and letting it go, what happens? What reaction does your mind or your body have? Whether it's positive or negative, I'm not sure. You let me know. What reaction do you have when you think about releasing that tension and stress? Maybe some of you feel some relief, and maybe some of you feel scared or feel more worried. Okay, Jackie, you feel nervous. Can you tell me more about that? Why do you feel nervous? You get butterflies in your stomach. Yeah. Okay, Crystal. Claudia, it brings tears. Yeah. So tell me what happens, because our reaction is a big key. Claudia, you feel scared. We need to understand this reaction so we can understand what our worry is about, where it's coming from. So if you feel anxious, if you feel nervous, if you feel scared or overwhelmed, then let me know. What are the thoughts that come with that? What are you scared or worried, anxious? What's going to happen if you let it go? Yeah, we're uncertain about the future, right? Anybody else? Yeah, you lose control. You're right, Crystal. So many of us know in our mind ultimately that we're not in control, but we want to feel like we're in control. And where that comes from is having been in a situation that was really scary, a lot of situations that were really scary, or maybe we had a childhood that was insecure, meaning we didn't have security within our family unit to know that we're safe and we're okay all the time. So it's normal and natural for that little girl in us to need to be vigilant to try and keep herself safe. Yes, right, Jackie. So you guys good. You're doing a great job. You're identifying, oh, I feel like I need to be in control. And why do you want and need to be in control? Why does that feel so necessary and needed to be in control? For safety. That's right. Because we're trying to keep ourselves safe. So the fact that you feel stress and the fact that you feel worry is absolutely nothing to judge yourself for. Right? So I want you to write this down now, or say it out loud to yourself, or say it in your mind. I forgive myself for feeling stress and worry. I understand why I feel stress and worry. It makes sense to me why I feel like I need to worry. That makes total sense. Anybody who saw your life, let's think of your life as a movie from beginning to now. If I were to watch that movie, I would look at you and say, oh my God, of course you're worried. Of course you're unsure. That makes total sense, right? So having a layer of judgment about how stressed and worried you are about everything all the time isn't productive. So let's let that go. It makes sense why you feel that way. But what we're doing now is shifting to understanding or creating a sense of safety within ourselves. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how to do that and why it feels so hard. So why it feels so hard right now to create safety within yourself is when we've had really overwhelming experiences that we don't know how to process. There's a part of us that stays the age that we were. So let's say at 5, life was, somebody hurt you, your parents got a divorce, maybe there was violence in your home, there was absent parents, maybe they were working and you were home alone a lot, and you didn't have a sense of safety. So if you're 5 and you don't have a sense of safety, then you have to try and create it within yourself, and the only way you know how to do that is to kind of think through, like, how can I protect myself? How can I keep myself safe? And at 5, that's a really big, overwhelming, impossible task, right? There's no way a 5-year-old is emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically able to ensure that they're safe and that their siblings are safe, right? So we have this, when we're adults now, At 5, we created that pattern of trying to keep myself safe, overcompensated, over worrying to try and make that happen. So now when you're an adult, you still have that little girl in there who's working so hard. And she doesn't understand or know that now you're an adult who's well resourced. You have options, you have resources, you have connections to others, and you have the body, the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual body to be able to manage life now. But she doesn't know that. She's still stuck in there back at that younger age, right? So creating a sense of safety for her to let go. She's the one, whenever you think about letting go and you get sick to your stomach and get overwhelmed and scared, that's her. That's her communicating, like, no, I don't. So it's us looking at her and saying, it's okay. I can do this now. I'm an adult and I have connections. So here's what I want you to do. You don't have to do this alone. Close your eyes and picture a warm, loving light all around your body. Take a big deep breath and just picture that warm, loving light all around your body. And then ask that warm, loving light to come close to the part of you where you feel that stress and worry. So come close to your chest, come close to your stomach or your head or your shoulders. Just ask that warm, loving light to come to you. And ask it to partner with you in releasing that stress and worry. So as the light comes to you, allow it to expand and brighten and get bigger and start to consume the tension and tightness of the worry. So that as the light expands and the tension and grows, the tension releases into that light. It's like they infuse together, but the light is stronger and it overtakes it. And as you feel the light overtake that tension, just continue to take big, deep breaths. And with each release, the light gets bigger and goes to more and more, expands to more parts of your body. Just continue to take deep breaths and allow that light to expand into greater parts of your being, consuming the stress, tension, worry. And just sit with this as long as you need to. Continue to take those cleansing breaths, releasing the stress and worry into the light. And the light is with you to partner with you, to help you, to create that sense of safety within you. And if it's helpful for you to associate that light with God, to associate that light with Jesus, to associate that light with a higher power that brings comfort and love to you, great. If not, just let the light itself be the comfort and love that you need and that you want. Okay, if this is hard, if you're struggling with this, that's okay, no judgment. I want you to practice again later. Just turn on some meditative music that really connects you with that you feel an emotional connection to, and try the exercise again. So here's typically what happens. This is what happened with me in the beginning. I would do that and I would feel better, and then it wouldn't be that much longer, maybe even an hour later, I'm back in tension and stress. And then I would need to do the exercise again. And then I would get back in tension and stress and do the exercise again. So this is something that you can do. You can do it as many times a day as you need to do it. Maybe there's something big going on in your life and you need to do it multiple times a day. Or maybe you're feeling okay, you're feeling pretty good, you can do it once a week or just once every morning. So there's no limit to the number of times that you may need or want to do this, but this is a way for you to continue to recenter yourself, reconnect your mind and body, and get out of your stress response. Okay, because once you've allowed that light to consume the stress and worry and you take those cleansing breaths, now you're back grounded, centered in your body, and you're out of your stress response. When we're not in our stress response, we're able to think clearly, we're able to problem solve, we're able to feel joy and comfort and love, we're able to engage with others in meaningful ways, we're able to, like I said, think clearly about next steps and what we need and have creative solutions. This is where we are operating as our best self, as our higher self, when we're able to be calm and out of that stress response. That's why it's so important that you do the work, you do this exercise to keep yourself out of stress. And when you are not in your stress response, then you are not a magnet for narcissists or anybody else to take advantage of you. Right? So it's not just about your ability to be who you are and take care of your life, but then you're able to connect with other healthy people. You're not magnetizing to people who want to take advantage of you anymore. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, intentionally focusing on gratitude and peace. So what I want you to do is make a list, a gratitude list. You can pick a top 10. This is obviously something you can add to every day. You can create a top 10 every day, or you can just have an overall general top 10. It just depends on how much time you have. And then I also want you to make a list of things that bring you peace. So examples could be, and you guys write in the comments, what brings you peace? For me, lighting a candle brings me peace. Cooking a meal brings me peace. A hot bath brings me peace. Snuggling with my boyfriend brings me peace. Sometimes watching a really good chick flick brings me, the beach, very good, Cindy. Yes, I just got back from the beach. That definitely brings me peace. I would just sit and let the waves at sunset and let the waves come on me every night, and it was the most peace. I loved it. Yes, definitely the beach brings me peace. So what are some things? Like I said, it can be so simple as lighting a candle, or it can be a bigger thing like taking a vacation to the beach. But what brings you peace? Watching the sunrise and the sunset brings me peace. Walks in the woods. Yes, Jackie. What else brings you peace? These are actual, tangible, physical things that connect you with peace. Anybody else? Could be a talk with a girlfriend. Music. Okay, good. So I want you to make a list. Oh, I love that. Watching your dog play in the backyard. Yeah. What about watching your kids? Those of you who have more than one kid, like watching them get along, watching them laugh with each other. That always warms my heart. Honestly, it doesn't happen very often with my boys, but when it does, it brings me so much peace. Good, Cindy. FaceTiming with your dad. Yeah. What are the things that bring you peace? I want you to actually make a list. So that could be a notes page in your phone. Write it down in a journal, but somewhere where you have easy access to it. And it's like, I know it sounds simple, but when you actually physically make a list, then not only does it bring it more to your conscious mind and out of your subconscious mind, but you have a reference point to go to when you're in stress and overwhelm. Because when you're in that worry, stress response, then our cognition is cloudy, it's foggy, it's faded, and we can't think of solutions, right? We're stuck and feeling scared and like a victim, and like we're not going to make it, and we don't have the creative solutions we need when we're in that moment. So that's why making an actual list that you can look at will trigger getting out of that overwhelmed stress response and back into the grounded flow of who you are. We call it the window of tolerance in the psychology world. So the window of tolerance is the window, the space that you're in where you can tolerate, like where you feel yourself. And when you feel yourself, you have capacity to be creative and know who you are. Okay, so I want you to actually make a list. So if you have this list of gratitude and this list of peace, here's the way it works. It is more empowering. When you're doing a peaceful activity, an activity that brings you peace, I want you to be thinking of the things you're grateful for. So doing an activity of peace, but thinking about the things you're worried about, it's not going to help. You're just going to be frustrated. So what will get you out of worry is doing an activity that brings peace while thinking of what you're grateful for. Right? So if finances is something that you tend to worry a lot about, then be grateful. You know what? Today I have money and a little bit of money in the bank, and I have all the food that I need. My people are healthy and safe. Like, just simplify it. Think of the things you're grateful for while you're doing that activity of peace, and that will get your body and your mind out of your stress response and out of worry. Okay, so you do the ball of light exercise and you follow it up by an activity of peace. Do you see how we're involving all of your senses? Right, so an activity of peace, let's involve something that you can see, that you can touch, that you can smell. We're going to engage an actual physical act of your body in bringing yourself to peace, while in your mind you focus on what you're grateful for. Does that make sense? Okay, so we have centering yourself with the ball of light. We have gratitude and peace. And our last one, which can be kind of tricky. Before I go into it, I want to say, if you are stuck in worry and stress because it is more a conditioned response, it's because it's just what you are used to doing, then doing these two exercises will diffuse that, will automatically change your conditioned response, and you'll feel free and you'll be ready to move forward. The way it makes me think of when I was 18, I injured my knee really badly. I had to have knee surgery. And so I had knee surgery. And after a while, I started going to physical therapy. And I walked into the physical therapist office and had this major hobble, a big limp. I didn't think I could move my knee because for a long time I couldn't move my knee. But the first thing the physical therapist did is she's like, Janice, I want you to stand here and I want you to march. And I was like, I can't march. And she's like, yes, you can. I want you to march. And I just didn't know that my knee was actually okay and it was fine and I could move it normally, because I had conditioned myself from the pain of the surgery and the pain. I've got this light thing on my head. I don't know how to fix it there. The pain, I was trying to avoid the pain that I had felt in the past, right? But I didn't know that I had actually healed and I was okay, that I could move my knee again, that I could move it normally. So I had to retrain and recondition myself to understand, oh, I'm fine now. So for some of us, we're just stuck in worry because it's what we were trying to do but we're actually okay now. We're just reconditioning our mind and our body, and it's like, oh, okay, I can walk. So I left that. I mean, honestly, I didn't even really need, she did do some more work with me to just build my muscle back up. But after that 5 minutes, I could have walked out of the physical therapy session and that would have been everything. I mean, I was walking normally again. I could just walk, where I thought I had to be doing all this hobbly stuff, but I was fine. So it could be that after doing these first two exercises, you're like, oh, I'm okay. I can do this. This isn't so bad, right? And then you move on and you're great. Or it could be that you have some work to do around number 3, which is there's still some really tender, painful, infected wounds from the past that haven't been looked at, that haven't been healed, that are still really painful and hard. And it just means that you need to go through the grief process and processing those experiences so that you're free and you can release them and move on and be whole and healthy, right? So there's no shame in that, there's no judgment. It's just some of us have had a lot of adverse life experiences, or some of us have had some really overwhelming, hard things happen that we don't have the tools, that we don't know how to process. And typically we need help. Right? So if you do these first two exercises, if you do the ball of light exercise, if you do the gratitude and peace, yes, Claudia, I'll post these. If you do the gratitude and peace, but you're still not able to get out of your stress response, you're still overwhelmed, you still are not sure, that means, okay, I still have some work to do on healing my past, on growing and changing. So it doesn't mean that the first two exercises are not going to help you. Let's clean out. To me, I liken it to, like with a physical injury, those first two exercises sort of clean around the wound, right? They start the process of reconditioning. Yeah, Lisa, you're stuck in grief. That's understandable. You probably have a very good reason to be. It doesn't mean you have to be stuck there forever, but it makes sense that you are now. And so it's like, okay, if I do the work of cleaning out those old past wounds, it's hard and it's painful. Just like, you remember when you used to get scrapes and you go inside and your mom would pour the hydrogen peroxide into the wound, like it hurt like hell, and we'd scream and we'd cry and make it worse. But then it's over. And then you're free, and then your skin is free to heal, and you can move on, and you can be happy and joyful. And it's the same with these painful experiences emotionally that we've had. If we pour that hydrogen peroxide in there, if we do the work of looking at it, healing from it, grieving it, and moving forward, then we're free. You're free in the future to create and curate a life that brings you joy and happiness and peace. And when the next thing comes, Claudia, you are an adult now who can handle it, who can move forward. Life will never be free completely of any bad thing happening to us. But when we are in our adult self, we can handle it, right? But when we have these little girl parts of us who are still stuck in pain, then when bad things happen, it's like we respond as a little girl instead of as the adult that we are. All right? So, so if like I said, if you do those two things and like you're still not feeling fully free, okay, well then now it's time to call a therapist, your life coach. It's time to get some support and help and starting to clean out the grief and the pain from the past so that you can be the woman that you are. You just don't know how to be. She's buried deep down in there, but you're just not sure how to be her, how to express her, how to fully live in her. So I want to talk about some things that we experience a lot of times. I'm just reading my notes real quick to be sure I'm on track with what I wanted to say. A lot of times, religion encourages us to focus on the first two steps, to focus on, just talk to God, just connect with God. It encourages us to focus on gratitude, and you're a bad person if you feel frustrated, scared, worried, sad, like you just need to focus. What I'm saying is those two things are necessary and needed, but they can't cover up actually processing the grief of your past, actually processing pain, right? If I needed knee surgery because I had a knee injury. So if I just went to physical therapy and focused on, I want my knee to be better and I want my knee to feel better and I'm just going to go to physical therapy and make it better, it would improve. But it's not going to be better until I have the surgery I needed to have to fix it. Then when I do the physical therapy, then that's when I really was able to rehabilitate my knee and move forward, right? So we can't not do that work and just think that we'll just make life now okay and just focus on gratitude and take care of ourselves. No, we have to clean out the past before it actually is effective, fully effective. Can you improve your life? Yes. But if you want to truly be free, you have to go back and do that grief work. All right, so worry often can be like an addiction because it is a way for us to avoid that work that we don't want to do, of processing the past, dealing with it, grieving what happened, healing from it, and letting go. If you stay stuck in your head and just worry, then you can avoid having to feel those things. You think that you can bypass feeling those things by being so it's and I mean it's all subconscious, right? But if you don't want to let go of worry, if this like frustrates you or makes you upset or like I'm not going to do this is, then that is our trying to, it's honestly it's like an alcoholic saying I'm not going to give up the bottle, because they don't want to feel the feelings they have to feel if they give it up. So giving up worry, a lot of you said like I feel scared, I feel upset, I don't know, that I feel unsure about that. It's because there's feelings under there that we're avoiding by staying stuck in worry. Lisa, I've had terrible experiences with therapy as well. Sometimes we just have to go. Um, Sometimes we just have to go, try different people until we find somebody that really works for us and that we connect with. So I understand. I've had horrible experiences with therapists, but I've also had incredible life-changing experiences with therapists. So we can talk more about that one-on-one later if you want to. But what I'm saying is, if it upsets you to think about doing this work, no judgment there. I'm not upset by it, and I don't want you to be upset by it, but it just means that there's feelings there you don't want to feel, and you're going to avoid it by worrying, because that can be an addictive way of us not having to do this work. All right, I'm going to read your comments real quick. Yeah, I can relate to that, Cindy. You guys, I was married for 19 years to a narcissist, to a selfish person, and I was doing all kinds of incredible work. But until I addressed a really big problem right in the middle of my life, I was stuck. I was completely stuck. So I can understand. I'm not teaching this from. I'm teaching this from a place of I've lived it, I've walked it, I've tried all of it. I've tried avoiding, I've tried fixing without really fixing. I've done all of those things. And I'm telling you that until I just completely faced all of myself, that is the moment I became free. And it wasn't easy, and it was hard, and I needed support and help, and I had different therapists helping me, but I did it, and that's why I'm here with you. That's why I created this group. That's why I created my transformation program, because I want you to have all the resources that you need to, and not have to guess and seek and search and find like I did. It's all here. Okay. All right, so what I want you to do from here, you can go back and practice with step 1 and step 2, and just start to think about the idea of what you need to still work through from the past. What are those painful events? What are the things that you've been through that you haven't fully healed and worked through and grown through, and decide if you're ready. So you know that I have lots of resources for you. I have one-on-one sessions available. I would love to meet with you one-on-one to work through those things with you. I have an incredible, I'll repost all of it, Cindy. I have an incredible transformation journey. It's 6 months. The women in that container are just lovely and amazing. They're badass women who are working hard to free themselves from their past, to do the grief work that they need to do, and reinvent a life that they're excited about and that they love. I have that freedom formula. So the freedom formula is what we work through in that transformation journey, where the freedom formula is reckoning with the past, reactivating who you are, understanding that woman that you're created to be, just reactivating her so she's in the forefront, she's fully alive, and then reinventing your life. So we work through those 3 steps in a 6-phase journey. Like I said, it's really powerful and amazing. So if you're interested in that, DM me, or I put a link here for a free chat. I'd love to talk to you about it. And then the last resource I have is totally free. I put a link for that as well. It's a self-care course. completely free. And in the self-care course, I give you 3 really potent, powerful strategies for you to implement into your daily life to demagnetize yourself from narcissists. So if you're somebody who struggles with narcissists finding you everywhere you go, I definitely have been there. I was married to one. I would, every time I go to work, I would find that they would just find me, and I realized that it's actually me that I needed. It's the way I was showing up that was very attractive to a narcissist. So these 3 strategies will show you what you need to do to stop attracting the narcissist in your life, to demagnetize yourself. Completely free. So that link is here. Click that. Get started on that self-care course. Book a chat with me if you're ready, if you want to dive into the transformation journey, or if you want to have some one-on-one sessions, or just continue to hang out in the group. I love the way you guys love on each other, take care of each other, connect with each other. I'll be there too. And I'm going to post a link in the comments. So my blog post from last week had these 3 steps in it. So I will post the link to the blog so you can go back and look. It's all written out for you in that blog. So that will probably be the best resource for you to have. So I will, let me see if I can grab it really quick. If you have any questions while I'm doing this, go ahead and post them in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them as soon as I grab this post. Got it? Okay. All right, there you go. I just put it in the chat, so there's the post that has, like I said, all 3 of these steps clearly laid out for you, exactly what to do and how to do it. And there you go. All right, love you ladies. I really love connecting with you. I love the community that you're building with me. I appreciate that you're here. Thank you for taking the time to be here with me today. And I look forward to hearing from you more in the future. All right, enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'll talk to you later. Bye, Lisa. Bye, Claudia. Take care of yourself. Love on yourself. Reach out to somebody. And I'll be happy to connect with you later as well.